Shenandoah Shine is a lifestyle brand focused on creating apparel, content, and hosting an iRacing community for everyone. We work with charities like the Toys for Tots, the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation, and the Appalachia Service Project. If you're looking for an iRacing community for everyone, please visit our website at shenandoahshine.co and join the Discord.
Welcome, everyone, to Intensity Broadcasting for the Shenandoah Shine 160, brought to you by the iRacing Superstock League. Tonight, we will be at virtual Talladega Superspeedway in the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series trucks. I'm your announcer, Atlee @ManWeese, and joining me to call the action is experienced iRacer Dylan Redding. Hey, Dylan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Allie. I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be a good one. We've got a full roster of drivers that are here to compete and to hopefully win some prize money. This Superstock Series has gradually grown over the past few months to the point now where these races almost immediately fill up with very high-class drivers. I think we're in for a very exciting race tonight.
Right, these are some of the best super speedway racers in the country, and this race would not be possible without our sponsor for tonight's race. It's in the title of the race, Shenandoah Shine. Now, tonight's sponsor, again, is Shenandoah Shine, which is a lifestyle brand focused on shining a light on life in the Shenandoah Valley. They aim to highlight the heart of Appalachia, while also using resources to support local communities and charities like Toys for Tots, the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation, and the Appalachia Service Project. They create apparel, content, and facilitate an iRacing community where everyone is invited. So please, guys, after this broadcast, make sure to visit www.shenandoahshine.co. It's not .com, it's .co. to learn more about this wonderful company. Now,
and Natalie, I've mentioned how the Superstock Series has grown, and as it's grown, so has the social participation on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch through Intensity Broadcasting. We've got more followers right now watching this broadcast than we've ever had before. We couldn't be more excited. I want to shout out Josh Hall, who is one of our Intensity Broadcast colleagues, who says he's sorry he can't be in this race. Well, we're glad to have you watching along with us. I think it's going to be a heck of a race.
Right, I'm so excited for the Super Speedway race, and tonight's format is going to be the same format as last week, and it makes the racing so much exciting to watch. So the 5 drivers are going to be advancing on qualifying time. So the top 5 during qualifying are not even going to have to go through these heat races. But then we're going to have two 15-lap heats where 10 drivers are going to advance from each heat, leaving us with 25 drivers starting the 30-lap feature. And so we're going to cut through 20 drivers. So 20 drivers that paid $25 to get into this race are not even going to participate in the actual race. So these heat races are going to be very important.
You know, under normal circumstances, at a super speedway like this, you might say qualifying doesn't matter. Because whether you're starting first or last, the field's going to be shuffled up during the course of a race, and you never know what's going to happen. But to have the opportunity to skip the heat race, advance straight to the feature, and not even have to worry about crashes or other competitors during a heat race, it makes qualifying absolutely vital. And I think we're going to see these guys go all out to try to turn the fastest lap possible here in just a minute or so.
Yeah, last race we saw a lot of drivers who would normally intentionally start in the back actually put up qualifying times because they really did not want to go into these heat races. And a few drivers, those 5 drivers, ended up making it to the heat race. And that makes, so let's go ahead and look here at the weather here for the Shenandoah Shine 160. It's currently 78 degrees Fahrenheit. You got a 54% chance of precipitation. Hopefully that does not happen. It's clear skies with a 2 miles per hour wind. Not too hot. It's perfect racing weather.
Adley, let me tell you, I will be shocked if it starts raining on iRacing servers tonight, but I guess you never know.
Anything can happen here at Talladega, racing-wise and weather-wise. And practice is only 30 minutes left. So, or excuse me, 30 seconds. But let's go ahead and talk about the prizes for tonight's race before we get into qualifying. It's going to be $300 to the winner. $180 to second place, $135 to third, $115 to fourth, and then $100 for fifth. And then we've had this prize for, I believe, 2 races now. $70 is going to go to the cleanest driver. So during this race, of course, you're going to want to be aggressive. Of course, you're going to want to get up to the front. But also, if you stay clean enough, then you're going to also get $70. And the past 2 times we've had this prize pool, the winner has gotten that $70. So I think Dalton J. Martin got it in the Fall Brawl, and then Jonathan Goke got it in the DE Designs 150.
Adley, up to $400 on the line. Do you think these guys are taking this seriously?
Oh, absolutely. And we got qualifying right now. We'll see who really wants to get into this race. That's going to be those 5 drivers on the top of the board. We'll see a lot of them on the screen right now. We'll see all their different lines, strategies.
And one of the unique things about qualifying at Talladega or Daytona, sort of it's a similar super speedway track, is that every moment from the minute that you start accelerating off a pit road matters. The faster you can get this truck up to speed and up against the wall to turn your first lap of qualifying, the better your chance you're going to have of turning the fastest lap. Even when you're below the yellow line just coming up to speed, you're focused on doing it smoothly and efficiently, because it comes down often to the thousandths of a second, even 10,000ths of a second between first and second or second and third. Every moment on the track matters, and it can be stressful, especially when you're trying to avoid the features. The qualifying races, like I was saying earlier.
Right, and that's why, again, qualifying is so vital, and we'll see who really wants to get that top 5. And you don't even need to get in first, just that top 5 will get you into this race. Here we got on the screen right now, we got Rob Yost from Harrisburg. He's 37 years old, and here he is in that Baps Motor Speedway car. We'll see what he can do.
Looks to be a fisherman based on his profile picture there.
Right, he is the flagman at Baps Motor Speedway.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
And you see him staying up against the wall. The reason he's doing that is because you want to take the longest route around the track to give the truck the largest amount of time to get all the way up to speed. The restrictor plate prevents you from speeding up quickly. You want to give your truck as much time as possible, and you should see him come down to the bottom of the track after he begins his second qualifying lap.
Brandon Gagnon gets on the top of the board with a 56.29 in that Studio Displays Toyota. We'll see if anybody's going to have anything for him. And they do. Jeffrey Vickery in that 21 machine is going to get a 56.27.
Yeah, we see several guys up here in the 56.2s. It looks to be about the mark that all these guys are aiming for, is to get into the 56.2 range. Right now, 273 is enough for the pole.
Right. Will anybody have anything for Jeffrey Vickery? Look at that. We're only 100 separating a lot of these times. This is getting it. Oh, Seth Groover in that 02 sets a 56.25. And that's going to put him now on the top of the board. We saw him in the Super Speedway Kings race on Tuesday, and he is a Super Speedway King, one of the best Super Speedway racers in the world.
And John Erst looks to be in second place by 0.02 of a second. That's almost impossible to judge with the naked eye. That is so close.
Wow, if that was a finish, then that would be a very close finish. If we have that much close racing here in this race, I'm excited to see what it's going to bring.
Based on what I saw in practice, these guys are planning on being aggressive and drafting very closely with one another. So I agree. I think that we're in for some very close racing tonight.
Oh, absolutely. This is for $300. It's on the line here and plus. But of course, there is $300 on the line. But also, if you keep your car clean while being aggressive, you could potentially have $370. And so far, that's happened. The two winners these past two money races here in the iRacing Superstock League have gotten that $70 prize. And we are going to have the drivers meeting at 5 minutes.
Oh. Right now, the fifth place cutoff is Justin Botello, 1/1000th of a second over Jeffrey Vickery. That's going to sting for Jeffrey if he ends up having to be in the qualifying races by that tiny of a margin.
And here we go. We got the drivers meeting right here. Listen in.
Please listen carefully to tonight's drivers meeting. Tonight's race will run with our heat race format, and we'll have a 25-car starting field for the feature. The top 5 qualifiers will be locked in, and the remaining drivers will race their way in on the heat races. There will be 2 15-lap heat races, which will serve the same rules and format as the feature. The heats will advance the top 10 drivers from each, making the 25-car starting field for the feature. iRacing will control cautions, and race control will also throw cautions if there are 3 or more cars that spin out. iRacing will control all lucky dogs, and race control is not going to be given any waiver rounds whatsoever. There are 3 green-white checkered attempts. Once all 3 are used, if another caution waves, we will finish under yellow. The leader controls the starts and restarts, and they fire at any point once the pace car has passed the commitment cones. The leader must maintain pace speed at all times when under caution and call out the pace car when the caution comes out. The leader has lane choice but must call it out if they want the outside before one to green. Otherwise, they will start on the inside. All drivers are asked to maintain pace speed and to stay above the apron while under caution. Please do not ride at the top of the wall in case of a lucky dog that needs to pass. If you are found at fault of causing a caution, you will be put to the end of the longest line. If you are found causing another caution, you will be removed from the server. Cause of cautions carry over from the heat race, so if you cause a caution in the heat and then you cause a caution in the feature, you will be removed from the server. You must wait for the drivers ahead to fire and accelerate before you do on the starts and restarts. If the green flag is out and the driver ahead is not going, you may pass them on the outside, but if you are found jumping to restart, you will serve a 30-second penalty. All drivers will have a 22x incident limit, and if it is reached, you will be disqualified. Black flags will only be cleared if you spin through the pit lane or you go through the pit lane to avoid a crash. If you're being told to let somebody by before entering pit lane, you must wait for them to pass before you pit. We will not clear that black flag because there's a lot of people that try to take advantage of the race control by speeding through pit road in that situation. If you are blinking frequently, you will be asked to drop to the rear, and if your blinking continues, you will be disqualified. Going under the yellow line is allowed, but if you cause a wreck by going down there, you will serve a one-lap penalty. If you are a lap car and the leaders are coming up on you, you must go to the wall or go into the apron to let the leaders by. Otherwise, you will be removed from the server. If you're unable to hold a steady line, you will be removed. We will not risk a big crash because you cannot hold a steady line. The Iracing Superstock League reserves the right to penalize or remove any driver at any time they feel is needed. There will be no refunds for any drivers if they are penalized or removed. Once you sign up, you agree to our rules. Please do not use the voice transmitter unless you need to call out a crash or checkup or if you need to pit. Any arguing or excessive swearing will result in a mute. Racial slurs, threats, or anything malicious will result in a removal. Once the race is complete, the winner may celebrate however they wish, and everyone else has to stop and reset. If you are found intentionally wrecking after the race, you will be disqualified and possibly face a 1-week suspension. Crashing the winner will result in a 2-week suspension and a disqualification from tonight's race. Top 3 finishers, please join the Discord waiting room to be interviewed by the race announcers. Tonight's race payouts are $300 to win, $180 to second, $135 to third, $115 to fourth, $100 to fifth, and the cleanest driver will get $70. The cleanest driver is determined by the highest finisher with the least amount of incidents. So if you win the race with a 0x, you will walk away with $370. Tonight's race is broadcasted live on Intensity Broadcasting. Please make sure to like and follow the stream, and don't forget to share for maximum publicity for the league, your team, and your sponsors. Remember to like and follow the Iracing Superstock League on Facebook as well, and follow and like Shenandoah Shine, our race sponsor tonight. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Let's have a good, clean race. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask.
That is it for the drivers' meeting, as we got the heat races coming up right here. The first of the heat races, we're going to have Justin Botello. He's going to be starting on the pole here. Dalton J. Martin second, Patrick Groover third, Crystal King fourth, and Jason Nethery starting fifth. And that's just the top 5. 19 total cars are going to be in this. And this is for a chance in the feature. 10 of the 19 are going to be advancing. So right throughout this race, I'm going to be watching that cutoff spot to see how everybody's working together.
And Adley, I mentioned how every moment of qualifying matters. Justin Botello starting first in this qualifying race. As far as the numbers on the screen show, actually tied with the 5th place car. So that means that it went to the 10,000ths of a second off of the screen to decide the difference between 5th and 6th place. Justin Botello losing out by an unimaginably small margin of time, putting him into this qualifying race where he's got to finish in the top 10 to advance.
That's crazy, and here's a look at some of the drivers that did make it into the feature. Seth Groover with a 56.252. Got John Ernst second, Andrew Moore third, Bradley G. Wilson fourth, and Jonathan Goke. All 5 of those drivers will be advancing to the feature. No sweat, won't have to go through any of these heat races, but these drivers in these heat races are going to have a lot of pressure to see if they can get into the top 10 and get to the feature. Here's a Look at that, Justin Botello car. See how he does if he can stay in the lead.
Yep, I imagine that J-Bo, as his followers affectionately call him, is going to be planning on trying to hold the bottom line and stay up front as long as he can. That's usually the safest place to be at a track like this, especially given the urgency of these guys only having 15 laps to sort themselves out and figure out who's going to advance. Not a lot of time to be patient in heat races. It certainly makes for some exciting and yet dangerous driving on the part of these drivers.
Right, one wrong move at these super speedways can create a whole domino effect and just send cars wrecking all over the place. So these drivers are going to have to be really, really careful when racing close quarters with each other to not make a mistake, because it could cost them getting into the feature and not getting into the feature.
It can be frustrating as a driver to have the race almost in a way taken out of your hands because you're involved in a huge wreck that you had no part in starting. But there's something about the unpredictability and the excitement of super speedway racing that brings all of us sim racers back for more over and over again. You could ask any one of these guys who has entered into this race, and they'll tell you that this is, if not the most, one of the most forms of racing that there is. And I think we're going to see them put on a show.
And we are going to go green this time by. We're just doing a quick overview of the field to see who all is going to be starting in this race. Nice paint scheme for that 4 car. And here we go. Let's keep our eyes on Justin Botello. He's going to be starting this race here. Looks like Dalton J. Martin. He's going to be right outside of him.
Green flag is out, and here we go.
Green flag is out here at Talladega Superspeedway. We are side by side going into turns 1 and 2. We got Justin Botello. He has the nose. Does Dalton J. Martin have anything for him? Oh, the 0-1 of Patrick Groover goes to the high side. And then Dalton J. Martin, he goes down.
And we got 3 wide action here on lap 1.
Yeah, the 278 of Crystal King, he got pushed all the way out there, but he gets back into line on that outside. And the outside is non-existent, can't get anything going. There goes the 05 to the top, Joshua Abbey.
Yeah, the top line often takes patience to form up. It can take a lap or two to get the momentum up there. And when you've only got 15 laps to race, it can be hard to string together enough drivers that are patient enough to make that work.
Right, that's going to be the main word for tonight. If you want success, it's going to be patience. If these drivers want to get into that top 10 here in these heat races and advance to the feature, they're going to need to have some patience. And hopefully we see that. Oh, the top gets a great run. Dalton J. Martin clears the bottom. And he's going to go down as we enter turn 3.
Yeah, a big run for the top line on the backstretch, and that can be a difficult decision when you're the leader of the top line and you clear the leader above you. Do you stay up there and take advantage of the momentum, or do you drop down to what's generally considered to be the preferred bottom line? We see Dalton make the decision to go ahead and drop down there.
And that puts the 16 of Ryan Battle now as the leader of the high side. And who knows, in a couple of laps he might get by Dalton Martin in the same way that he got by him to get into the lead. So we'll see if that top line is going to have any momentum. We got that 05 of Joshua Abbey. We'll see if he can give that 16 a good push.
And more so than any other style of racing, you really depend on what's going on behind you. You depend on the cars that are in line behind you to stick together and give you the run that you're looking for. Try to stay in the front or get to the front. For example, Ryan Battle not able to get quite as big a run on the high side that time as Dalton was able to the lap prior. It just really depends on what kind of momentum you can put together from one lap to the next.
It also depends on how close you're getting to that back bumper of the trucks. I do know, though, that these trucks can be a little bit finicky when you make a little bit of contact. So the 20 is like inches off of Dalton J. Martin. That's giving him such a good push that he has the nose over Ryan Battle as we enter the front straightaway. But we're getting a good run on the high side. Ryan Battle has the nose over Dalton J. Martin as we enter, and he's going to clear him on the bottom. Got some cars on all the way down on the yellow line. That 25 car is making me nervous.
Yeah, we were 3 wide there for a minute. I was getting real nervous. That's really sketchy, especially in the turn. Luckily, they were able to sort that out before catastrophe struck.
But Ryan Battle, he's now going to be the leader on the bottom, and that puts Joshua Abbey. Oh, we got a car move up. He was not clear, and that pushes the 05 up. We're 3 wide right now. 16 of Ryan Battle moves up. Here comes the 18. He's going to start pushing the 05 of Joshua Abbey.
And Patrick Groover came on the radio and said simply, sorry, which, I'm glad that he admits his mistake, but those other drivers are probably thinking, well, I could have, oh, we've got to spin. I was hoping he'd be able to hold it, but, and he comes back up on the track and causes a big wreck.
The thing is, though, no caution has came out yet, so we're going to stay green here at Talladega Superspeedway as we got the 20 now of Justin Botello. He was our pole sitter for this heat race. He's going to be the leader of the bottom. We got Ryan Battle up top.
And that is a really tough break for Dalton Martin, who was in second place at the time, now dropping almost all the way to the back, and his chances of advancing to the feature are all but over now.
Right, that has to be very, very disappointing for him. I mean, he was up there. He was up front having a great race, and then disaster struck. And I don't know. It's going to be a tall task, but we'll see if he'll be able to make it back up to the front. I know that Dalton right now, he is hoping for a caution, and I don't know, after that wreck, I'm surprised that we didn't see a caution, but with this racing, this aggressive racing, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a caution.
Yeah, from what we've seen so far, these guys are not pulling punches. I would not be surprised to see a caution sometime in the next 10 laps.
Yep.
If you're Justin Botello, you find yourself right back where you started, leading the bottom line. So far, his strategy has been to stay put, not worry about what's going on around him or who might drop in front of him, and so far it's worked out in his favor. We'll have to see if he can keep the momentum going as we proceed.
Oh, got a car around.
Big wreck.
And now the caution comes out, just what Dalton Martin wanted. And we'll get that wreckage replay up for you so you can see exactly what happened in this incident.
And perhaps I spoke too soon when I said Dalton's chances were all but over, because when the entire field wrecks in front of him, that just puts him right back up in the mix of things.
And we are now going to go live here for the replay. We can see what happened right here. And here we go. So yeah, it looks like the 99 might have gotten a little bit too close to that rear quarter panel on the 278. That just sends them right down. 01 gets right into the wall. Got Joshua Abbey makes contact. Let's look at that replay one more time. Pay attention to that 99 car. Let's see how low. I was saying just before how finicky these trucks can be. Yep, just a small tap right near the rear quarter just sends the 278 flying into
And
Patrick Gruber.
There's nowhere for the rest of the field to go. These guys are running 200 miles an hour, and when you've got cars blanketing the track in front of you like that, there's just nothing to be done. Robert in the 99 has already come on the radio to apologize and say it was not intentional. You can bump draft in these trucks, but what you cannot do is hit a truck in just the one corner, like what we just saw happen right here. That's just going to turn the truck in front of you right around. You've got to hit them flush to push them forward. So unfortunately, right in the left rear there was contact, and we saw 10 trucks or so spin out and crash.
And you could tell that Rob Yost, he did not mean to do that. It was not intentional. but at the same time, he got a little bit too close to that back bumper, and these finicky trucks interacting with each other just sent the 278 of Crystal King around. So when the caution flag came out, Ryan Battle was the leader. So he should be the leader when we restart.
And we now have what looks to be about 8 trucks that are damage-free. So, as you mentioned, Adley, we're going to be keeping an eye on the elimination line between 10th and 11th place. And now all these trucks having crashed and taken on damage, it's going to be interesting to see who can get up there and hold the 10th spot, and hopefully have a truck that's in good enough shape to do so.
So right now in 10th, it's that 25 car of Jason Nethery. And then 11th is Dalton J. Martin. So he's going to need to have a good restart, Dalton will, and just try to get up to 10th and then try to make his way up, back up to where he was before that wreck happened. These rest of these drivers are going to have a tall task of just getting back up front into that top 10. You don't even need to be first in this race. You just got to get into the top 10.
And it does look like we have 3 trucks that are a lap down. So they're going to be hoping for another caution to have a chance to get their lap back, because it's next to impossible to race your way back onto the lead lap at a track like this where everyone is stuck in a draft. And then we have Justin Green 3 laps down. So for them, they're hoping to see some more wrecks like we just saw. But with only 6 laps left, I imagine we will at least hopefully be in for a race to the finish here.
All right, so right now we're going to take this time to talk about our sponsor. Once again, it's the title of this race, the Shenandoah Shine 160. And Shenandoah Shine, if you don't know already, is a lifestyle brand focused on shining a light on life in the Shenandoah Valley. They aim to highlight the heart of Appalachia while also using resources to support local communities and charities like Toys for Tots, the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation, and the Appalachia Service Project. They create apparel, content, and they even facilitate an iRacing community where everyone is invited to join in the fun. Visit their website at www.shenandoahshine.co, not .com again, it's .co, and you can learn more about this awesome company. Lights on the pace car have gone off as we restart. It's going to be Botello. He's going to be 1 spot down from where he started this race at the beginning of the heat race, and Ryan Battle, he's going to be starting on the bottom.
Yeah, Justin was on the bottom when the caution came out, but just, as a result of the caution flag waving when it did, Ryan was able to be listed in first place. Now he's on the bottom.
Right, but still, just Botello, he started on the first row last time, just in a whole different spot. So we'll see if this outside can get a good restart and get up front.
And I've seen plenty of times the leader actually choose to start on the high side, because it is possible to get quite a good launch from the restart and then get in front of the leader entering turn 1 and then drop down and take advantage of the bottom from there. So we'll have to see if that's what Justin plans to do. He'll need the car behind him to stick with him and be able to give him a good shove.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what he's planning to do, but we'll see if it works out for him. We'll watch for that pace car. As when we go green, we are going to have 5 laps to go. This is going to be a 5-lap shootout for these drivers. As we enter, 10th is Joshua Abbey, 11th is Dalton J. Martin, and the rest of these drivers are going to need to drive their way into the top 10. Here we go.
Pace car is off.
And it's like Green flag is out here at Talladega Superspeedway once again, and we're side by side for the lead as we enter turns 1 and 2. And good run. Looks like the 20 of Justin Botello does have the nose, and he goes down in front of Ryan Battle. He did exactly what we said he would do if he got a good run on the outside.
Yeah, that's what he was looking for. He cut it a little close. He dropped down right in front of Ryan. Luckily, he was able to clear him. He must have been waiting for his spotter to say clear, and then he immediately turned that wheel left. So couldn't have done it any sooner than he did. But everyone got through there safely, thankfully.
Right, and now that's going to put Ryan Battle behind him. I'll be interested to see if he moves up to the high side to try to get another run. But looks like that high side has faded out quite a bit, not even in the picture.
Yeah, right when the restart happened, kind of mid-pack, they went 3 wide, shuffling, trying to settle things amongst themselves, and that really prevented the top line from forming in the front. As I mentioned before, you really depend on what's going on behind you to give you the momentum you need. So right now we've got single file racing, but with 4 laps to go, I'm willing to bet that that's not going to stay that way for long.
Right. These drivers, they want to get into the feature. They got to do anything they need to do so. I saw a driver as we entered 1 and 2. He was riding that apron all throughout the turn, and that seemed like a very dangerous thing to do, but he's still in it right here, and we'll see. Oh, Ryan Battle goes to the high side, and we're 3 wide here as we cross the start-finish line.
3 wide for the lead here. I'll say that I'm surprised, although maybe I shouldn't be. These guys were in a straight line. All they had to do was sort of hold their own to finish in the top 10 in advance, but you know, these guys are race car drivers. They want to win whenever they can, and you see them jockeying for position to try to get to the front.
Ooh, the 25 goes way, way high as he's trying to get up into the lead. Dalton J. Martin, look at him. He's all the way back up front, giving that 25 a push. Both of them stay hugging that wall, and they move down to the middle.
When you've got trucks 2 and 3 wide, 5 and 6 rows deep, it is really hard to tell who's in 9th, who's in 10th, who's in 11th, where's the cutoff, because from one moment to the next, they're all changing positions. It's going to come down to who crosses the start-finish line when, and it's going to be exciting to see where everyone finishes, as it's going to change almost to the last second.
Yeah, as we enter 2 laps to go, looks like Joshua Abbey, he is in 10th place, and Bobby Anderson, he is currently at the cutoff in 11th. So Bobby, he's just trying to do everything he can to get up into that top 10. Ryan Battle goes high, and the 25 is left to dry on that third line.
And these drivers do have a little ticker at the bottom right of their screen telling them what position they're in. And if you're in, let's say, 7th through 15th, you've really got your eye on it, trying to figure out a way to get up to 10th. Almost more than you're paying attention to what's going on in front of you. So it's definitely coming down to the wire for these guys as we take the white flag.
And Ryan Battle is going to move down in front of Jason Botello, and he's going to take the lead on the bottom. That's going to put Dalton J. Martin as the leader of the high side. Ryan Battle goes way high. Oh, and they got the 15 cars into each other. But the caution will not come out because it is the final lap.
Yeah, a very aggressive move by our leader there, which I don't know if that was necessarily the cause, but sometimes when you see trucks jumping from one lane to the next, it can cause others to react almost involuntarily. And you saw some trucks get together a few lines back and unfortunately cause a big wreck.
And as we cross the start-finish line, it looks like Justin Botello. He started this race in first, and he's going to finish it in first here at Talladega. And that's going to conclude our heat race. Let's take a look at that top 10 to see who will be advancing to the feature. Jason Botello, again, was our winner. Kyle Mays finished second. Bobby Anderson third. Ryan Battle fourth. Thomas Rutherford finished fifth. Then rounding out your top 6 was Dalton J. Martin. 7th was Jason Nethery. 8th was Crystal King. Finishing 9th was Aaron Smith II. And the final person qualifying into the feature during this heat race was Joshua Abbey. Then barely missing the cutoff was Eddie Morris. 12th was Braxton DeWeese. 13th, Parker Collins. And that is going to be it, as we are going to be starting heat race number 2. I'll just go over the starting top 5. Jeffrey Vickery starting 1st. John Taylor IV starting 2nd. Brandon Gagnon starting 3rd. Matthew T. Lee 4th. And Jonathan Thompson.
Allie, I tell you what, I've got to take a deep breath. We barely had time to process that exciting finish, and we're already on to the next one here. But just to circle back to the end of that race while we have a moment, very exciting car shuffling and trying to make moves all the way down to the start-finish line. Justin Botello able to hang on for the win. And my buddy, Eddie, finishing 11th, one spot away from advancing. I hate it for him, but, we said that it was going to come down to the wire, and it certainly did. And if that's as exciting as the qualifying race is going to be, I think we're in for big time show come feature race.
Right. It's the cream is gonna advance to the feature, I'll tell you that. And it's gonna make for an awesome heat race, awesome feature. But during this heat race, everything is gonna be on the wire with these 9 drivers who paid 25 hard-earned wages into this race, and they're not even going to make it to the feature.
Yeah, it's a risky take. All of these drivers knew what they were signing up for, and it's fun. They want to win prize money, but really what they're looking for is some exciting racing with some good drivers, and that's certainly what they're delivering for us viewers at home tonight. I think we're going to see the same type of thing here in this second qualifying race as these guys look to fight their way into the feature.
Right, and right now, as we start this race, starting 10th is going to be Michael White in that 09. And then starting 11th is Stephen J. Harper in that 27 car, in that Hellman's bright yellow. We'll see if he can work his way up into the top 10 and advance to the feature. When we go green, it's going to be 15 laps to decide who's going to make it to the feature.
And in the first qualifying race, the person who finished 3rd started 16th, and he was the only one to finish in the top 10 who did not start in the top 10. So there's certainly an advantage starting in the top 10 as far as having a chance to finish there. However, we see from Patrick Groover, who finishing 3rd, that it is not impossible to work your way to the front.
Right, and there goes the pace car. Can someone like Shane Wheeldon in 19th make his way up into the top 10? We'll see if we'll see any Cinderella stories here during this heat race. Right now, let's pay attention to the start. Green flag is out here at Talladega Superspeedway. We got the 21 Jeffrey Vickery, John Taylor the 4th, side by side as we enter turns 1 and 2. And here comes the that's the 04 of Matthew T. Lee coming on that outside. And that just leaves the 42 to dry. He goes way out of the picture.
Yeah, John in that 42, he might have expected to lead the top line coming into the backstretch. Matthew Lee wanted nothing to do with that. A very aggressive move to the inside to take control of the high line.
And here comes Brandon Gagnon up to the high side as well. And that high side has a ton of momentum, and they're going to clear Jeffrey Vickery as we enter into the tri-oval. Are they going to go down? And they are. Both Brandon Gagnon and Matthew T. Lee both go down to the bottom, and that's now going to put the 43 of James Morgan as the leader of the high side.
And I saw James move down to the inside, almost as if saying, I wish I could follow you, but couldn't quite do it. He had the 21 of Jeffrey Victor right there to his inside. What we're seeing, not only in this race, but in the last race, is that the top line is able to put together a lot of momentum. And I think that we'll see that work to the advantage of some drivers come time for the feature race.
There goes Jeffrey Vickery as we're talking about the high side, up to the high side. And we've seen a ton of times so far this race that the high side, if it can get enough drivers pushing up there, they have a chance to run and get up to the front. And hopefully we'll see if Jeffrey Vickery is going to do that with the 43 of James Morgan. Right now he's side by side with second place Matthew T. Lee.
And I certainly prefer the high side as a driver. Not every driver would say the same thing. It's sort of a personal preference, but it's difficult to see out of the right side of your car when you're in this sim. And I find that on the high side, I have a much better view of the racetrack and the cars around me. And when you're drafting very closely with the cars around you, the ability to see clearly what's going on around you can actually make you drive more smoothly, and then as a result, faster. So I find it to be to my advantage to be on the high side, but we see a lot of drivers, as we see right now, prefer the bottom. So it really just depends.
And the 21 goes right down to the bottom, as we were just saying, in front of Brandon Gacken. That's now going to put James Morgan. But continuing on what you were talking about, I know that Joseph Wright for Intensity Racing Team, he said that he prefers the high side because he has a lot of room to move around, and say maybe if he overcorrects a little bit, if he has a lot of room on that high side, he has enough room to where even if he does overcorrect, he might not wreck somebody. It's just, it gives you so much room to move up. And there goes someone up to the high side, Brandon Gacknon.
We see the high line inch ahead there. Brandon's going to lead this lap, I think. Or maybe not. The bottom's going to get a little bit of a run here. Brandon did lead that lap.
Yep, he's got a great run on the high side, but as we enter the back straightaway, oh, there goes Matthew T. Lee up to the high side, joining the party. And he has the nose as we enter 3 and 4.
And this is about where in our first qualifying race, we saw things get a little bit hairy as the drivers progressively got more and more aggressive as the laps went by. We're coming to 10 to go now, and we'll see if they can keep it clean here. This is about where we had our first caution last race.
Right about that not halfway, but like 10 laps to go. We're getting down into the nitty-gritty, only a couple more, and these drivers really want to get into the top 10, and the people that are in the top 10, they want to stay in the top 10. So we might see it get a little bit antsy coming in to this final stretch.
And this is a good view here that shows how there's about 3 or 4 trucks in the back that have lost this main draft. They're going to need to form a line and try to push themselves back up into the mix. Otherwise, they're going to have a hard time competing for the top 10.
Right, if they don't act, as there we go, you can see it on that right side. If they don't act, they're going to be left in the dust by this front pack, and really the only thing that they can do is hope for a caution. But as we were talking there, Brandon Gacknon moves down to the bottom, and that now puts James Morgan as the leader of the high side. But Brandon Gacknon, he's going to go back up there to the high
we
side.
have a wreck in the back. Caution is out.
And caution is out here. Oh, we got a car flipping in the back. Didn't see that because we were looking up front, but we will be able to see it with the Wreckage Replay. So we'll get that up for you in just a couple of seconds.
It looked like somebody went for a wild ride back there. I couldn't tell which truck that was, but hopefully they landed safely.
Right, of course it is virtual, so no hospital bill for that, but we might see a pretty damaged car, and that could cost them the race. Hopefully they can get it repaired on pit road.
Yes, Ali, like you said, this is the safest form of auto racing, but the trucks can be the worst for wear for sure when you can have a wreck like that.
And so here is the replay right here. Let's take a look at it. Pay attention there to that. That be the 59 on the top. I'm not sure where this starts. Oh, it looks like the 27. Maybe a little bit of ARCA braking there.
Yep, he just turns them down and he makes contact with the trucks underneath him, and from there it's just a pile up, unfortunately, for the trucks behind him.
Right into the wall. The 5 car. There goes the 888 down to the bottom.
And then from here, there's just trucks off the screen behind these 3 making additional contact.
Oh, there it is right there. Garrett Brown goes for a wild ride. Barely misses the 5 car, and you can see smoke is already coming out of that car.
And maybe we can get a view from inside his race car. I'm just curious if we can get a good demonstration of just how small amount of time these drivers have to react when there's a wreck in front of them.
We'll try to get it here. Let's take this time under caution to try to get the replay. We'll rewind a little bit. He did go into pit road and he's now out, so...
Yeah, it looks like all the trucks were able to stay on the lead lap except for one, so hopefully they can regroup after that wreck and get their way back into position to compete for the top 10.
Alright, so we got it right here. The inside car view of Garrett Brown here. So here he is. You see, moving the wheel a lot on the high side. He's currently trying to get a run. He moves down to the bottom behind Gaspar, and there goes the wreck. He had nowhere to go, got right into them. Then the 888 slams him into the wall, and whoa.
It just got worse and worse for him as time went on. Minding his own business on the bottom, next thing he knows, he's looking straight up at the blue sky. So just not a lot you can do in a situation like that. You hope to avoid it, but it sometimes comes down to luck more than skill.
Yeah, that was a crazy view there from the view of the 38 of Garrett Brown. Hopefully he did get that car fixed, so now we'll see if he can make his way up into the top 10, and that'd be pretty crazy. He was flipping up in the air, and then he still has the chance to make it into the feature. That would be crazy.
We have a message from Sean Spinoza on Facebook saying, "That's Talladega for you." And I have to agree. It's par for the course at a track like this, where 1 second you're okay, next second you're upside down. It can be very unpredictable.
Yeah, Talladega, I like to call it mood swings, where at one point you're single file, just drafting behind someone, and then the next you're flipping up in the air. So Talladega is a beast of a racetrack, and we'll see how that continues as we have 7 to go here. 6 to go as we cross the line.
And I believe it was 6 to go when we had our final restart or next to last restart in the first race? We seem to be sort of on the same schedule, so to speak, as the race before.
Yeah, I think if the lights on the pace car go off at this time, it's going to be kind of a deja vu. And they do, so that's hilarious. So last heat race, this exact same thing happened, where we had a caution at the exact same time and then the same amount of pace laps, and then we're going to be going back green here at 5 to go. So a little bit of a deja vu here at Talladega.
And if I'm one of these drivers, having watched the first heat race, I want the deja vu to stop right there. If you recall, we had a wreck on the last lap that took out a big portion of the field, and I think that these guys are going to hope to avoid that situation and be primed to get themselves in the right position to cross the finish line in the top 10. I would be thinking to try to get myself into the top 5 if possible, before three to go, to just try to carve out a spot and stay there. If you find yourself trying to race and shuffle around in the last lap or two, that can be when you get into trouble. So we'll have to see how these guys position themselves for the final several laps.
So, yeah, I think if we see another wreck or caution, we're going to see a lot of disappointed drivers because it's going to cost them so much track position and potentially could knock them out and prevent them from advancing to the future. But we'll see right now the top 5 as it stands is Brandon Gagnon, Matthew T. Lee, James Morgan, Jeffrey Vickery, and Race Broad TTV. But I feel like the thing that we care about right now is the cutoff. So right now in 10th is David Salter. And then in 11th, he got left to dry earlier in the race, is John Taylor the 4th. So we'll see if he can make his way up into the top 10 during this restart. And the pace car goes onto pit road. As we'll see what happens.
Have this extended pace through the tri-oval here, as Talladega has that unique start-finish line at the end of the front stretch.
Right, and that can make for some great finishes.
Green.
And here we go. Green flag is out, and even though he started on the high side, he just gets a great restart, goes down, and he has a big gap over everybody else. That's Brandon Gagnon there in that 83. He's clear of everybody else right now.
Yeah, the top side wins again. I guarantee you that the rest of the drivers are taking note of this trend. I wouldn't be surprised to see drivers choose the top line in the feature on restarts.
Now that can be, as you saw there, as when he had that gap, the cars behind him were coming straight towards him. That can be a dangerous situation because if you do get a bunch of momentum, sometimes it can be hard to stop and you run right into the back of that front truck. But good thing that we saw a clean situation. But again, if you get into a draft, you know you're in a draft and you have so much momentum that sometimes it can make it hard to stop.
Yeah, and most tracks, most of the time, the leader wants to get as much of a jump as possible on the restart to get out ahead of the field and kind of just sail away into the sunset. At Talladega, if you get too big of a jump on the rest of the field, you're going to, in a way, lead the draft, and the rest of the field's going to catch up to you and drive right on by you. So there's a little bit more nuance, so to speak, to leading a field to the green flag at a super speedway.
Right, and of course these drivers, they want the draft because, as you all have seen from all these past money races, you can't be successful at these tracks without the draft. And there goes some cars up to the high side. James Morgan in the 33 of Race Broad TTV go up there. But there's only going to be for one car. There goes the 21 and the 99 all the way up there of Jeffrey Vickery and Michael White. Oh, 82 and 09 make contact.
The yellow flag is out.
Caution is out.
And caution is out. Wow, that was a crazy wreck there.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I was just about to say these guys are 4 wide, and before I could even say it, they unfortunately were crashing. You don't see a lot of 4 wide action, and we're seeing why here. We'll see the replay, but there's just not a lot of room, and if all 4 drivers don't stay in line, you can see a disaster.
So here's the replay right here. Watch that 82 car. He's going to get 4 wide with the 21, 09, and 27. That's one of the most dangerous situations in racing. Here he is. We'll watch from the behind. And here it is. Once he gets under the 09, it's basically considered 4 wide. And I think he might actually get a good run. I watch the 09. He's going to move down the track here. Yep, he moves down the track. Or no, maybe the 82 moved up. That's just a racing deal right there. And he moves down right into Horvath. Horvath gets into Harper. And it's a domino effect from there. Cars getting into each other. Got cars sliding through the grass. Ha! That car that flipped earlier on in this race, the 38 of Garrett Brown had another wild ride. Flips once again.
Yeah, he just can't catch a break this race, it seems like. And I've kept my eye on John Taylor IV, our second place starter in this race. Has had a difficult struggle this race. He's sitting in 12th right now, which is actually a few spots higher than he was a few laps ago, but still outside the top 10. I know he was expecting to have an easier time starting in second, but really from the very beginning of the race, he found himself dropping back. So I'm sure he's going to be looking to move up a few spots on this, what should be the final restart. But we'll have to see.
So let's get a replay here from the cockpit view of Nick Horvath to see whether the 09, it might give us a little bit of better view of whether the 09 came down or Nick Horvath came up, or it could just be another racing deal as we've seen time and time before.
Yeah, it's close. I think I'm going to say that the other truck came down into him. He was sort of entitled to that middle line going into the turn, but he might have inched up a little bit. It's kind of difficult to say.
Yeah, I think it's just a racing deal here. It's just things happen here at Talladega, and that's just another one of those wrecks that we've seen, and it might have cost a few drivers the race.
So we have, it appears to be 15 cars on the lead lap. 10 of those cars are going to advance. So I think, well, I was going to say I think the action is going to be towards the back as they look to get into the top 10. But we saw in the first race that no position was safe as even the leaders continued to fight for the lead all the way to the end, even though they were well outside the danger zone of finishing outside the top 10. So we should see action all around the track.
Right, all over the track there's just been action. Entire race, 2 wide, 3 wide, and well, last time we saw 4 wide racing. I know Talladega has a lot wider turns than Daytona. We've seen 3 wide at Daytona, but Talladega has just wide enough turns where you can squeak in 4 wide, maybe even 5 wide, and that can produce some exciting racing. So while we are under caution, take the time to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And please make sure to share the broadcast on, I think you can do it on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. It helps support the broadcast and the drivers, the league, and the sponsors as well, and it really helps support us. So just make sure to share the broadcast to spread the word about this wonderful iRacing Superstock League. And I haven't had the chance to talk about the iRacing Superstock League. This race tonight is brought to you by the iRacing Superstock League, which is owned and operated by Mr. Ian Martin. If you've watched Intensity Broadcasting over the past several months, you've seen us broadcast some amazing racing from the iRacing Superstock League, and things are only heating up. Make sure you like and follow their Facebook page at iRacing Superstock League. That's iRacing Superstock League, all spelled out, and you can get some information and potentially maybe get into a money race just like this one that you're watching tonight.
And Atlee, this is going to be a green-white checkered, meaning that they take the green flag and the very next lap take the white flag for the final lap of the race. If they take the white flag under green, then there will be no caution flag no matter what happens on the last lap.
Yep, green-white checkers is one of the best things possible to see in racing. It can produce some exciting racing, like you said. It's got an interesting format. And hopefully we don't see this heat race last too long. Of course, I know in the race we're going to have 3 green-white checkered attempts. I don't know how many for the heat race. Probably the same.
Yeah, it looks like I'm seeing on the screen that this is attempt 1 out of 3. I think they have 3.
All right. Well, starting on the front row here is going to be Matthew Lee on the bottom and Brandon Gagnon on the top. This is the same way that we started the last restart, and that Brandon Gagnon got such a great run on the high side. We'll see if he can repeat on that.
Yeah, it looks like that's his plan, so I'm sure he's confident after how well it worked the last time.
We'll see here, pace car pulls in. Let's take a look here at his G-force in his wheel. We can also see how fast he's going and what gear he is in. That's going to be on the bottom right of your screen. That's some pretty valuable information to see on that Brandon Gagnon machine. But here we go. Green flag is out, and he does it again. Ooh, goes all the way up to the very, very high side. So does the 33. Almost gets into the 04, but he's going to take the lead as we enter 1 and 2. Does the same thing as he did last time. Great restart for Brandon Gagnon.
Yeah, great jump. We saw him sort of at the last second duck up to the high side. I'm not sure if he thought maybe he was going to come down on the car, hadn't cleared him. The spotter said something or what, but luckily he was able to keep it clean and get down safely. He's now leading the race, and they're single file for the most part.
Now those front 10 right now, they're single file currently, and they're just going to try to cruise into the feature. Nope, that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 cars in that pack. So the rest of the 3 are going to need to get in through that backpack. That's a lot of separation here. We're single file. Here's this backpack starting at Michael White in the 09. Let's take a look at that action right here as it's the final lap.
They're three wide racing for 10th place. This is where we thought the action would be, and they're going for it here. They know that they've got to make a move to get into the feature.
And right now, Michael White is the leader in 8th. Oh, they're wrecking behind them. And these 3 cars are going to have, so it looks like pretty much, if nothing else happens here, the top 10 is set in stone from Brandon Gagnon to Justin Cope.
Yeah, unfortunate that we had that crash there, as it sort of solved our 10 truck puzzle a little bit early. But for these guys, they were able to keep out of trouble and finish in the top 10. They're moving on.
And there it is. Here, heat race number 2 at Talladega. Let's take a look at that top 10. Brandon Gagnon first, Race Broad TTV second, Matthew T. Lee third, James Morgan fourth, Jonathan Thompson fifth, Jeffrey Vickery sixth, Chris Shoemaker seventh, Michael White eighth, Jacob T. Grant ninth, and Justin Cope rounded out your top 10. The drivers that were eliminated was Nick Horvath in 11th, Patrick Gaspar in 12th, and Charles Gurek 13th, John Taylor the 14th, Stephen Harper 15th, Shane Wielden 16th, David Salter 17th, Garrett Brown 18th, and Mark Cook 19th.
And it's got to be frustrating for these guys that were eliminated, but still fun to come out here and race. And they're supporting a great sponsor here tonight in Shenandoah Shine, and I'm sure that they'll be geared up for the next one.
So speaking of Shenandoah Shine, we're going to take a quick break and watch a special Shenandoah Shine commercial, and then we'll be back for some more racing.
Shenandoah Shine is a lifestyle brand focused on creating apparel, content, and hosting an iRacing community for everyone. We work with charities like the Toys for Tots, the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation, and the Appalachia Service Project. If you're looking for an iRacing community for everyone, please visit our website at shenandoahshine.co and join the Discord.
We are back here for the start of this race. We're going to be doing the starting grid for tonight's event. Let's go ahead and look up front. Seth Groover with a scorching time of 56.252 is going to be starting on the pole. Second is going to be John Ernst. Third, Andrew Moore. And fourth, Bradley G. Wilson.
Fifth and final of our 5 automatic qualifiers, we have Jonathan D. Goke. And then in sixth, the winner of our first heat race, Justin Botello. Seventh, Brandon Gagnon. And eighth, Kyle Mays.
Then in Shenandoah Shine Racing, got Race Broad TTV in ninth. Rounding out your top 10 is Bobby Anderson. 11th is Matthew T. Lee. And 12th is Ryan Battle.
13th, we have James Morgan. 14th, Thomas Rutherford. 15th, Jonathan Thompson. And 16th, we saw him crash and work his way back into the top 10 in the qualifying race, Dalton J. Martin.
Got a great racer, Jeffrey Vickery, starting 17th. Jason Nethery, starting 18th. Then we got Chris Shoemaker, 19th. And rounding out your top 20 is going to be Crystal King.
21st, Michael White. 22nd, Aaron Smith. 23rd, Jacob T. Grant. 24th, Joshua Abbey.
And then last but certainly not least, it's going to be Justin Cope in that 59. He is going to be rounding out your top 25. Lights on the pace car are off. The front row is set in stone. Seth Groover and John Ernst, as it's getting time here for the feature.
Just like that, the qualifying is done. The field is set. We've got 30 laps to decide who's going to take home the top prize. And based on what we've seen so far, I think we're in for a good one, Allie.
Right, this is going to be an exciting race, I can tell for sure. Got 25 of the best Superspeedway racers on iRacing. And we'll see how they'll be able to work together, how this race is going to progress throughout this race. And we'll see who will come out on top in the end. Here's last week's winner, Jonathan Goke. He won the DE Designs 150. He got $370 because he also got that Cleanest Driver Award. We'll see if he can get 2 in a row for money races. And the pace car is going to duck down. And we'll see what happens here. We've got the long tri-oval before the start-finish line, and then we'll go green.
Start is on the leader. It looks like he's going to wait for the green flag, but it is up to him.
Green, green,
And they
green.
launch here at Talladega Superspeedway. The 02 of Seth Groover is going to get a good jump. And he's going to go up to the high side, then he goes back down here. Ooh, a car going down on the apron. That's the 69 of Andrew Moore. And as
I'm not sure if maybe Andrew was just going to go to the back and try to stay out of trouble, or if he had a rough restart there.
Yeah, that was a pretty risky situation getting down there on the apron, especially in a turn, but glad he gets back up. And looks like the 71, as we enter turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4, is gonna, he did have a nose, but now we gotta run on the bottom.
We see our 2 lines form up here. I'm expecting these guys to be a little bit patient here at the start. It is 30 laps, unlike the qualifying races that were half that distance. So the first portion of this race is really more about surviving and staying out of trouble and getting yourself in position to compete for the win when the time comes. Having said that, though, it can be easier said than done to demonstrate that type of patience. One thing that's different.
Car round.
We
We're gonna see a caution.
several cars involved. Yes, caution is out.
And caution, first caution of the race here. And we were just talking about surviving. Looks like.
As I said, easier said than done.
Right. It's hard to keep it clean here at these super speedways, and we'll see just what happened here in this wreck, in this wreckage replay. Let's watch it here. So pay attention to, yep, the 43 gets into the 18. 18 goes down into the 33. And then it's just a chain reaction from there. 25 gets into the 4. 23 makes contact with the 18. That gives him a boost.
Yeah, you mentioned a chain reaction. What happens is that the cars, or in this case the trucks, that can see the spin, they start slowing down, and the trucks behind them can't yet see the wreck. They don't slow down. You have a bottleneck, and trucks start spinning around. So, unfortunately, we had a bit of an accordion effect there. Our trucks got bunched up, and several of them made contact and spun out.
So when the caution flag came out, Seth Groover was the leader of this race. Or it might be John Ernst, I'm not sure. I think it was Seth Groover, but we'll see. Regardless, disappointing, but I think all of these 25 drivers are still on the lead lap, so nobody's done or out of the race yet.
It looks like everybody was able to get themselves back on the track without losing a lap. We see a couple trucks coming in for a second pit stop here to try to fix the rest of their damage, I presume.
Yeah, they got Chris Shoemaker, Race Broad TTV, Aaron Smith II, Crystal King, Justin Cope, Thomas Rutherford. They all go down onto pit road to maybe get some damage fixed, some tires, maybe some fuel. Again, now let's take a look at this weather again. Looks like we've increased in 1 degrees. We were 78 during practice. We're now 79 degrees Fahrenheit. We've got a little bit more clouds in the sky, and the precipitation chance has increased by 1%. We're now at 53%. Still 2 miles per hour wind.
And partly cloudy in the 70s is about the best you can ask for at Talladega. When it's exceptionally hot outside, it can get a lot more slippery out there, and make it a lot more difficult to run together in the draft. So there should be plenty of grip out there for this race. We've seen some close racing so far tonight, and I think that's going to continue.
Right, even in that short little green flag run that we experienced, it was very, very close racing, wire to wire, and hopefully that continues in this next restart. As we're going to take a quick look of this field that we have. Some nice paint schemes that everybody's running.
And our top 4 trucks, John Ernst, Seth Groover, Bradley Wilson, Andrew Moore, they started in the top 4 as well, although I don't think necessarily in that order. So far they've been able to stay out front, stay out of trouble, and I'm sure that's going to be exactly what they're hoping to continue to do as we get back to green flag racing here in a moment.
Right, and I think Jonathan Goke, he was in 5th, so pretty much the top 5 is the same as when we started. Not exactly, but just like the same cars that are in it. So, we got a little bit of damage on Jason Nethery, some left rear damage. We'll see if that affects him while in the draft.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to say in these trucks in the draft. Sometimes, if that big rear spoiler on these trucks gets pushed up a little too high, it'll sort of create drag, so to speak, and prevent you from working as well in the draft. But then on the other hand, if pushes up sort of the other way, so to speak, in a different shape, it can actually help you aerodynamically. So it looks like he's just going to try it out and see what it does. He's probably thinking there's going to be another caution, and if he needs to go in and get more repairs, he will.
Yeah, and after we've seen such an early caution, I would not be surprised if we do see another caution tonight. I mean, it's super speedway racing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a green-white checkered. Actually, I'm predicting right now that we're going to see a green-white checkered here at Talladega.
I won't be surprised if that happens, Adley. We saw it in the second heat race, and in the first heat race, we saw a caution on the final lap. So late cautions, late crashes are certainly seem to be the trend tonight.
And we'll see if we have a clean restart, though. Starting on the front row, we're going to be John Ernst on the bottom and Seth Groover on the top.
So our leader chooses the bottom line here. We saw the top line have great restarts in the qualifying races. These top 5 drivers were not in the qualifying races. So we'll have to see if they can continue the same trend we saw earlier.
Right, and like you said again, top 5 is going to be up front where they started, and there you go, pace car drops down. We're going to be going back green here in just a second here at Talladega. And here we go. That green here at Talladega. Great run by John Ernst. He gets way out in front. The 51 is going to get in front of the 02. That's a Bradley Wilson. And they're going to catch back up to the 71 of John Ernst.
Looks like everybody falls in the line, and as soon as I say that, these 2 cars go to the high side. So we can scratch that.
That's Seth Groover and Jonathan Goke. And they're getting a great run. They're going to clear everybody. Beginning running on the high side. There comes the 20 of Justin Botello and Brandon Gagnon on the high side as well.
Yeah, we see the top 5 break up into groups of 2, almost like tandem racing. But I think they're going to all kind of get back together into a pack in probably by the end of this straightaway.
Yep, it's just going to take some time for everybody to catch up, but when we do, we'll probably see some clean racing. I believe that the 36, the 83 and the 04 of Brandon Gagnon and Matthew Lee are working together with each other. They're drafting the same paint scheme pretty much. And so we'll see if they can try to push each other to a 1 and 2 finish. That would be pretty cool.
For some reason, that bottom line not quite able to completely form up. They're going to need to get closer together, or the high line is going to get a lot of momentum and have the advantage. I think they are getting closer, a little bit more bunched up now.
Yeah, looks to be that way. 51's finally getting up to the bumper of John Ernst. John Ernst just needs to get up there towards Jonathan Goke. There's a big gap between these two, and just that little gap, it may seem like little to some of our viewers, but it's a lot considering pushing. And there we go, the high side gets a good enough run to where Justin Botello goes down to the bottom and clears the 02 of Seth Groover.
Justin Botello, the winner of our first heat race, now finds himself leading the feature on the bottom, right where we saw him in the prior race. It seems to be that his game plan is going to be similar, trying to repeat the success he had earlier.
Right, we know he's a great super speedway racer from what we saw in the heat race. But also, our other heat race winner is right beside him, the 83 of Brandon Gagnon. We'll see if he can try to get out front and clear his fellow heat race winner. And he's going to do just that. Goes down to the bottom and clears him. That's now going to put Matthew T. Lee as the leader of the top.
And you can see here, as these images show the whole field, that we've got a very well defined low line and high line right now. looks like these drivers are going to settle in and try to turn some laps. Of course, last time I said that, it caused a wreck, so maybe I should stop jinxing these guys.
Yeah, I don't know. It's getting to 22 to go. This race already has gone by very, very fast. We're nearing 20 to go. I think at about 15, the drivers that may have been intentionally dropping to the back are going to start to try to make their way up through the field.
Yeah, they're going to have to. 20 laps will go by quicker than they might think. And, of course, you might say, okay, time to get to the front, but you've got a large group of trucks in front of you that would rather you not pass them. So it's not always a guarantee that it's going to work out.
Right. Of course, caution could come out in the near future. You never know. And that could change a lot of things. Oh, looks like Jonathan Goke, he moves up to the high side, near miss of the 10 of Dalton J. Martin.
A little separation with the top 5 or 6 trucks. Not a lot, but it could be enough to separate them.
3 wide. Almost 4 wide. Oh my gosh, this is a risky situation right now. The 2 car goes way up to the high side.
We've got 3 distinct lines of racing here, which is possible, but can be very dangerous, to say the least. So hopefully they can keep themselves in line and not shuffle around too much, or else it's going to cause a crash.
Here comes Matthew Lee on the high side. He almost cleared Justin Botello, who just a couple seconds ago got in front of Brandon Gagnon and retook the lead. Once again, he was our Heat Race 1 winner.
And I'm hearing drivers come on the radio in the back of the pack saying, come on guys, it's too early for this, take it easy. They don't want to get smushed. So some drivers begging for some patience out of the guys in the front.
Yeah, this is getting pretty antsy. We're still 3 wide. I don't think they want to get up to the front and stay in the front.
And Dalton in the 3rd line near the wall, pushing himself all the way up to nearly 5th place. Looks like he might fall back a little now as the momentum shifts, but I'm impressed that he's been able to make that 3rd line work as well as he has.
And I think I didn't quite see it, but a couple of seconds ago, Justin Botello moved up to the high side. That puts Matthew T. Lee down on the bottom. As here's a look at the field. Looks like we have a separation. That kind of pack ends at Jonathan Thompson, and then starting with the 71 of John Ernst in 11th starts a whole new pack. So we'll see if they can catch back up.
And you can see how the lead pack is very tightly put together, and then the secondary pack, they're a little bit more spread out, and that can make the difference between the leaders and the back half of the field as far as speed. The closer you are together, if you get tucked in behind each other, you'll get the advantage of that draft.
Yeah, a close packed pack, whether it's the top or the bottom, is going to be the faster line. And let's see, you got 04 of Matthew Lee up top now. Brandon Gagnon on the bottom. We're side by side between them.
And Justin gave up the bottom line to go to the top, something we hadn't seen him do so far tonight. And now he's going to lead that top pack as the leader drops down.
And we're nearing 15 to go, so these drivers, again, that intentionally drop down to the back, it's go time for them. They're going to need to start really putting the pedal to the metal on those trucks and try to get up to the front.
We're seeing great racing so far. These drivers settled their differences in regards to the 3 wide racing we saw. They settled down a little bit and gotten back into line. but as we inch closer to 10 to go, we're only going to see the intensity pick up as the drivers get more and more aggressive.
Right, take this time for a breather, because in a couple of laps, it's going to really start to get intense. Here comes the 0-2 to the high side. Does he have enough room to squeeze in? He does. That is the 0-2 of Seth Groover. He's now going to move up and start pushing that 24. I thought he wasn't going to have enough room and maybe go right across the front bumper of the 0-5 of Joshua Abbey.
Yeah, he looked a little undecided there as he moved to the top, but not quite committed, as if he was thinking about going back to the bottom, but he's certainly settled in now on the high side. And that line is getting a little bit of momentum here. Approaching start finish, or no, excuse me, going into turn 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of laps we'll see the top line, maybe even this lap, if we see the top line clear the bottom. Justin Botello in that 20 is getting a great push from Jonathan Goke. And if y'all remember, the DE Designs 150 was last Superspeedway. Oh, Matthew Lee goes up to the high side and clears Justin Botello. And looks like we're going 3 wide again.
Yeah, I think Seth is going to get shuffled back here. Not able to make that third line work. But he gets back down as soon as he's able to.
And so does Jonathan Goke. He goes up there as well. I saw a little bit earlier that we had a little bit of a pack up there. They're not quite in the picture currently, but maybe in a couple of laps we might see a fully functional third line. I know that the 0-2 of Seth Groover, he loves running that high side close to the wall. We saw him race on Tuesday in the Superspeedway Kings. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the 0-2 of Seth Groover and the 24 of Jonathan Goke, both of them go up and maybe start to try to create a line. There goes the 10 of Dalton J. Martin up there. Is he trying to do something?
And our leader, Matthew Lee, drops once again down to the bottom and gets a big run. You see the difference now between him and the truck that was behind him, Justin Botello. Matthew has shown a propensity so far for figuring out where the run is going to come from and getting in front of it to stay out front. Some drivers would call that blocking, but he would call it staying in the lead. So it's open to interpretation, but so far it's worked out for him.
Now you gotta think that a lot of these drivers, unless they're teammates, they have little to none communication with their fellow drivers, unless of course it is in voice chat. So these coordinated things that are going on are pretty hard to do, considering you really can't talk to the other person. And looks like the 83 of Brandon Gagnon and Justin Botello go down to the bottom. That's now going to put Matthew Lee as the leader of the high side.
And that's how quickly things can change. A lap ago, Matthew Lee was in the lead on the bottom. Justin Botello was in 5th place on the top. And now we see Justin on the bottom and was in 2nd place, although the momentum has shifted again since I started speaking. So things change very quickly here at Talladega.
Uh-oh, looks like we got some... Oh, 83 is loose!
The yellow flag is out.
Oh, a big wreck. That's going to clean out a big portion of the field.
Caution is out here at Talladega. Caution number 2 to be exact, and we'll get the Wreckage Replay up to see exactly what happened during this caution. Let's get the right cam. You can see a good view of that. And let's go ahead and check it out. So watch that 83 of Brandon Gagnon right here. So we were talking. There goes the 20 of Justin Botello. He clears him. He's getting a push from the 69 of Andrew Moore. And I think we might see him get down on the apron. So Andrew Moore goes down. He goes down a little bit on the apron. He moves back up, and while he's moving up, he makes contact with Brandon's bumper, and that gets him really loose, and then there he goes, gets right into the 69, and that starts our wreck. Got cars checking up high. Take a look at that one more time from a different angle.
Yeah, it looks like our Grinch truck got him loose and then just went to the bottom. Not sure if thought he saw a hole there to get underneath him, but at any rate, he made additional contact and turned the 83 around. Unfortunate break for the 83 as he was leading the race earlier that very lap and found himself spun out and pushed all the way to the back of the field.
Now, I want to watch this and just see, was there maybe some net code? Let's take a look and see if there was any net code here. Or was it solid contact? Yeah, there looks to be a gap between. Yeah, he probably got the air off of it.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. There might have been a little initial net code, but once he got loose and the truck behind him got underneath him, that could sort of push the air into the back of the truck and just spin it right around.
Disappointing. Tough break, but hopefully we can see these drivers get back out onto the track. Justin Botello was the leader when the caution flag came out, as you see him there in the 20 car.
Yeah, Justin, sort of a cat with 9 lives. He was in second behind Brandon earlier in that lap, was able to jump to the high side, get a run, drop back down into first place just in time for Brandon to be spun out from behind. That very well could have been Justin a lap earlier, so he's able to keep his good luck charm in his pocket, so to speak, and he's still remains in the lead.
And so right now, let's take the time to thank our sponsor. That is Shenandoah Shine. And if you do not know already, Shenandoah Shine is a lifestyle brand focused on shining a light on life in the Shenandoah Valley. They aim to highlight the heart of Appalachia while also using resources to support local communities and charities, like, for example, the Toys for Tots, the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation, and the Appalachia Service Project. They create apparel, content, and facilitate an iRacing community where everyone, yes, you are invited. Now, make sure to visit their website at www.shenandoahshine.co. Again, it's not .com, it's .co, and you can learn more about this lifestyle brand.
So we're going to be taking the green flag at, is it 8 to go or 7 to go, Atlee?
I don't have the ticker currently on, so I can't see that. I think it's going to be somewhere around that 8, 7, 6 to go.
So we've got ourselves a little bit of a shootout here. Certainly not a lot of time to sort things out. If you're in the back and you want to make your way to the front, now is certainly going to be the time.
It looks like I got it on here. When we go green, it's going to be 8 laps to go. So it's going to be an 8-lap shootout for these drivers.
And our leader, Justin Botello, comes on the radio to say that he is choosing the high side for this restart. Certainly going to be looking to get that big run that we've seen in earlier restarts tonight.
Right now, I just looked. We are currently at 447 followers on Facebook. We just need 3 more for 450. So if you are currently watching this broadcast and you have not followed us on Facebook already, then please make sure to do that so we can get up to 450. Really help support us, and we'd appreciate it. And we're trying to get to 250 on YouTube. We're at 215, so a little bit more that we need to get. So if you're on YouTube and you haven't already subscribed, please make sure to do that, as we are on the road to 250.
And we appreciate each and every one of you tuning in tonight. We've seen fantastic growth on this channel over the past few months, and we know it's going to continue with the help of viewers like you. And I hope that you've enjoyed this race as much as we have. We're excited to see this. It should be an excellent finish for this feature race.
Right, 8-lap shootout. Couldn't have asked for any other super speedway race to watch tonight. And there we go. The pace car dips down onto pit road. And let's go ahead and see what's going to happen here. Justin Botello on the top. Matthew Teeley on the bottom. Go ahead and watch this restart. Got the wheel, and here we go. Green flag is out here at Daytona International Speedway. Weaving a little bit is that 20 of Botello. We're side by side for second. Got the 03 there up on the top. He's going to dive down behind the 04, and we're single file as we enter the back straightaway.
And you saw the second place truck really hang back and sort of just give the lead to Justin. I think his plan there was to make sure that when Justin dropped down, he'd be able to get right to his bumper and ensure that he stayed in second. And that is exactly what happened. So whether that was part of the plan or not, it worked out so that Matthew Lee is sitting in second, which a lot of drivers would tell you is right where you want to be heading into the final lap.
Well,
you know,
now notice that the 24 of Jonathan Goke has a little bit of bumper damage on that 24 car, but yet here he is on the high side with the 16 of Ryan Battle. See if that affects him.
Yeah, he's certainly able to stay in the draft. Sometimes when you have a damaged truck in the front, trying to pull the rest of the line, if you hold them back, sometimes you can say he might be a better pusher than a leader, but you know, he's certainly not concerned about that right now. He's just trying to lead his way back to the front.
I've been noticing, remember guys, if these drivers stay behind somebody for a little bit too long, as we were just talking about pushers, if you're the pusher for a little bit too long, your air or your engine temperature starts to rise, so you might see some cars going up to the high side for a breath of fresh air to lower that engine temperature, cool it down, and that makes for a faster race car.
And you will go up in smoke if you let that temperature get too high, so it is something to keep an eye on. We haven't seen that be an issue tonight for anybody. The trucks are a little bit more durable in that regard than some of the other types of cars like cup cars, but it is something to keep an eye on.
Right, I forgot which one, but we did see in one of these previous money races somebody blow up because they were staying behind them for too long, so I wonder if we'll see that. But this time by, we're going to be 5 to go here at Talladega as we're 3 wide. Here comes that 2 car. Who is that? That's Kyle Mays. Oh, he makes contact. And does he save it? He saves it.
Magnificent save there. Assisted a little bit by the car underneath him, sort of catching him in a way, but I thought for sure that was going to be a wreck, and they were able to hold it together, so good job by the 2 car.
Yeah, watch that replay. That was a near miss there, but I'm glad we still get to continue. Oh, but as we talk about near misses, that was a hard hit. Caution is out. 3rd caution of tonight, and we'll get this wreckage replay up. Oh my gosh, we have the 51 car going on a wild ride.
Yes, that was quite the aerial maneuver from the 51 truck. We're going to have to get another look at that. That would have been a gold medal performance on the ice skating rink, I think.
Flew like the rotors of a helicopter there. But let's go ahead and check out this replay to see how the 51 got up in the air like he did. Here we go. He's drafting behind Joshua Abbey. He moves up. I think... I was about to say he might have clipped the 59. Yep, he might have moved up and he clips the 59. Both of them go into the wall. And that's when this starts right here. Goes right up into the air.
That's impressive, Ellie.
That is a wild right there. All
You see 2 trucks drive underneath him, a third truck drive underneath him.
that would have been scary from their point of view. Let's go ahead and just.
And Race Control has announced that wreck was caused by the 59 of Justin Cope. That is his second offense of the evening, and he is disqualified.
Interesting. That is true. In this league, if you cause 2 cautions, you're out of here. So, looking at that replay. Yep, that caused 51. Terrible damage there, but looks like he's back out on the track. When the caution flag came out, Justin Botello was the leader, so he is in the lead currently under pace.
And the leader just took the yellow flag for lap 28. So we're looking at 3 to go at the moment. I can't tell. Are the lights off on the pace car? Are we going green or are we?
No, lights are not off. So I think we're going to have a green, white, checkered.
It sounds like it. That would prove you right, Atlee. I believe you predicted that.
Yep, we're going to have a green, white, checkered. I remember in the beginning of the race, I said that I'm probably going to see a green, white, checkered, and here we are. We are currently having the opportunity. I saw a car get their lap back. I'm not exactly sure who that was. I believe that was the 44 of Thomas Rutherford, but I think right now we have 22 cars on the lead lap, so that's 22 cars that have the chance to win this race.
We have a question on Facebook. Because Justin Cope was disqualified, does that mean that he finishes last? I believe that he scored as stopping the race at the lap that he was disqualified, so he's currently listed as 1 lap down in 23rd place out of 25 cars. And the 2 trucks behind him are 7 laps down, so I think that this is where Justin Cope is going to settle, finishing 23rd tonight.
Right, unless neither Brandon Gagnon or Bobby Anderson goes back onto the track, then looks like that's where he is going to finish. I know that Ian Martin, he tries to get clean racing here in the iRacing Superstock League, and I mean, 2 cautions. If you cause 2 cautions, that's not considered clean racing, so it looks like Justin Cope has been disqualified.
Yeah, and for some of our viewers at home, that might seem strict, but it's actually a very common rule in iRacing. 2 of the leagues that I race in have that same rule, and it's certainly not something that these drivers are unfamiliar with, so it's something that they all accept as the rules, and they're all racing under the same rules, so nothing unfair about it.
I believe now, this time by, lights on the pace car are going to go off, and we're going to be restarting here. Yep, lights on the pace car are off. Looks like, did Botello choose the high side? I think he did.
Well, it certainly worked for him last time, so I'm not surprised that he's going to try to make it work again. This will be our first attempt at a green-white checker. 3 total attempts possible. If a caution comes out before the white flag waves, then they will slow it down and try again. If the leader does take the white flag under green, then it doesn't matter at that point whether there's a wreck or not. The race will end that lap.
So it looks like, again, looking at that back bumper of the 24 of Jonathan Goke, it's absolutely destroyed. We'll see, again, if that, it hasn't affected him, because look, he's in 4th, but we'll see how that, whether it hurts him or helps him during this restart.
Yeah, sometimes it's the restart where the damage impacts you the most. Once you get up to speed and you're in the draft, you can be fine, but it might, if it takes you longer to speed up than the trucks that aren't damaged, then that will be to your disadvantage, and it can hold up the trucks behind you and potentially cause an accident. So hopefully these guys are able to avoid that.
So we'll wait for the pace car to dip off, and then we'll see our first attempt at a green-white checkered. Gonna have Justin Botello on the outside, Matthew Lee on the inside, then Got Jonathan Thompson behind him, and then Jonathan Goke on the outside behind Botello. Pace car dips. Nope, not quite yet. There we go. Now the pace car dips down onto pit lane. And we'll see going through the tri-oval. Got that long start-finish line in the bottom right of your screen. We got his steering wheel. You can see his G-force, and then of course how fast he's going and what gear he's in. And you can see the miles per hour starts to go up, and we're back green here at Talladega. The 20 is going to clear Matthew Lee. He moves down to the bottom.
Great restart by Justin. He goes just a little bit before the green flag just to make sure that he gets a jump and is able to stay in front. And they're going to go file in line behind him. This is exactly what Justin wanted.
Right, and we'll see if it works out to his plan if he wins this race. Looks like the 24 of Jonathan Goke is starting to fall a little bit off pace from the bumper of Jonathan Thompson. I don't know if it's that damage kicking in.
You can see, is that the, I don't know what number that is, the red and blue truck on the high side. They're going to try to push themselves up there and get to the leader and get a run on the high side for the win, but I don't know, coming to the white flag here, if they're going to have enough time to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they might have a chance. Yeah, they're coming up there here as we're now final lap. Caution comes out. We're going to race back to the start-finish line.
And if you're Matthew in this second place truck right now, when do you make your move? Do you try to go around the leader here on the backstretch? Do you try to wait to come up when you come off 4 in the tri-oval? You don't want to do it too early, but at the same time, you don't want to let these other trucks get up beside you as we see it happening right now. Oh, and we have a wreck.
There you got cars going around. That knocks out a lot of contenders. We got these final 5 cars in the frame here. But up front, we got Justin Botello, Matthew Lee. Justin Botello goes up the block, preventing Matthew Lee from going up. And looks like Botello is going to get the win here at Talladega. Matthew Lee finishes second, and Ryan Battle rounds out in third.
Justin did exactly what he needed to do, blocked when he needed to block, and he kept the truck out front when it mattered. Unfortunate that we saw that spin. It ended up taking out quite a few trucks.
Let's just look at that finish there. It looks like he was content on pushing that 20 car. I saw as we entered the tri-oval, the 20 expecting him to move up, just randomly moved up when Matthew Lee moved up at that exact same time. So he kind of predicted it, blocked it, and that prevented Matthew Lee from going any further.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he was racing out of his rearview mirror there, trying to block anything that Matthew tried to do. And we're going to have to confirm this because I'm not sure, but I think that Justin is also going to get the Clean Driver Award. I think he got a 0X for the race.
I cannot see that, but if that is the case, then that's $370. Here's that wreck there, just Joshua Abbey. He goes around right into the 43. Let me see, the 02 gets involved in that. Only 5 drivers really make it out. There goes Jonathan Goke on the bottom. Does he avoid it? No, looks like a car gets into the back of him, and then he gets into the back of the 02.
And our winner, Justin Botello, he does his burnout and leaving a lot of donuts on the racetrack for the track manager to clean up later. But great win for him, an impressive performance. Won his heat race and the feature.
So after we do the finishing results, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to do our driver interviews to see what everybody has to say about this race here at Talladega. But let's go ahead and look at the finishing results here. Justin Botello is your winner here at Talladega. Second place was Matthew T. Lee. Third was Ryan Battle. Then fourth was Jonathan Thompson. Then rounding out your top 5 here at Talladega was Aaron Smith, second. Then Dalton J. Martin, 6th. Joshua Abbey, 7th. Kyle Mays finished 8th. Bradley Wilson, he started in the top 5. He finished 9th. And then Crystal King rounds out your top 10. Jacob T. Grant finished as 11th. Andrew Moore, 12th. Jonathan Goke, 13th. Jeffrey Vickery, 13th. And then Jason Netherian, 15th. Now, after this, everybody is a lap down. Seth Groover, 16th. James Morgan, 17th. Then we got Race Broad TTV in 18th. Finishing 19th was Chris Shoemaker, and 20th was John Ernst. 21st was Thomas Rutherford. I think a lot of these drivers back here got in wrecks. Michael White finished 22nd. Bobby Anderson, 23rd. Brandon Gagnon, he got in a bad wreck. And then 25th was Justin Cope. He was disqualified. So
I stand corrected. Justin Cope was put in last place, 31 laps down, so he was marked as the last place finisher.
So we're going to go ahead and cut to the commercial, and then we are going to be here for the driver interviews.
Shenandoah Shine is a lifestyle brand focused on creating apparel, content, and hosting an iRacing community for everyone. We work with charities like the Toys for Tots, the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation, and the Appalachia Service Project. If you're looking for an iRacing community for everyone, please visit our website at shenandoahshine.co and join the Discord.
All right, we are back here on Intensity Broadcasting for the driver interviews, and looks like we're not going to have a victory interview unless he comes in later. We only have Matthew Lee in second, Ryan Battle in third. So, Dylan, you're going to be doing Ryan Battle for third. Let's see what he has to say.
Oh, did we lose him?
Well, I'm losing him there. All right, so we're here in the booth now. Dylan, you got the call?
Ryan, this is Dylan writing in the booth. Do you copy?
How's it going?
Hey, man. Great finish. It looked like you were in a good spot in third. You took the white flag. I wasn't sure if you and Matthew were going to try to get a run around Justin to fight for the lead. Couldn't quite make it happen, but still a great third place finish for you. What are your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, I saw some guys work the middle there, and I followed them early in the race. Then a wreck happened, and I figured I'd try to do that, make my way to the front. And that was pretty dirty on Jonathan there. I feel very bad, but it's Talladega, I guess.
Yeah, the top 10 finishers. I'm looking through the top 10. Only one of them, the ninth place finisher, started in the top 5. So really, all of you coming from the back. Even Justin, our winner, started in 6th. So was that from the cautions or just a lot of shakeup in the racing? Did you see a lot of aggressive maneuvers tonight?
Yeah, I was not worried about qualifying or nothing like that. I knew the heat races. I knew I was not going to make the top 5. So I knew I had to stay clean in the heat races, make my way in that way. I knew I had to stay clean in the feature, make my way to the end. And I was there in the end, and That's it.
All right, great. Well, do you have any sponsors or anybody you'd like to thank?
No, not really. Just playing Iracing, trying to make a couple bucks, and that was a good way to do it.
Yeah, well, congrats again. Great run.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
We got second place finisher Matthew Lee. Matthew, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Atlee. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and you're doing pretty good too. You finished second place here tonight at Talladega. You had a great race up front for majority of this race. What happened here at Talladega from your eyes?
Yeah, I knew I wasn't gonna get in on qualifying, like Ryan was just saying. I never really qualified the best here, so I really thought just had to stay clean, stay out of trouble. Me and Brandon really ran a really good heat together, which helped us both lock in. Stunk that he got taken out early. But after that, I decided to work with J-Bo to the end and kind of solidify both of us having 1-2, whichever way it worked out.
And like Dylan said earlier, only the ninth place Bradley Wilson started in the top 5, so a lot of you guys had to work your way up. Did you have to make a lot of aggressive moves to try to stay up front? And if so, what were some of them?
No, I mean, the biggest thing I really was trying to do was just keep whoever I was working with that was pushing me cool. When Brandon was pushing me there, I'd just move up to the top line whenever I could to get him cooled off and get back down in front of him and try to stay up there. It's usually cleanest place to race is up front around these Superspeedway races, and it's really hard to come through the pack sometimes with some guys that you don't really race against a whole lot. So.
Well, good strategy. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I really got to thank Brandon for working with me earlier. J-Bo, great win by him. I got to thank Simulation World Auto Group and Swag Esports, GTR Simulators, Studio Displays, ComServe Wireless, you guys for everything that you're doing.
Well, congratulations on this win. That's $180 in the bank, and hopefully we'll see you for more of these Super Speedway races.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys.
No problem. And now, Dylan, you're going to be interviewing the winner tonight.
All right, Justin, this is Dylan. Do you have a copy?
I got you.
Justin, you missed out on qualifying in the top 5 by less than 1/1000th of a second, a virtual tie. But you regrouped from that. You won your heat race. You won the feature. You really demonstrated how to get to the front and stay in the front. What was sort of your recipe for success on the night?
So wanted to stay up front the whole race. I feel like, going to the back sometimes is kind of crazy back there. So my whole goal was to stay up front. I got to give so much credit to Matthew T. Lee. He was really working with me the half of the race, really. A lot of those guys are really good, and, working those lanes was so important tonight, and that was awesome. So, it was a good time. I had so much fun, and I can't believe I won the damn thing. Tell you what, it was a great race.
Matthew mentioned how he was going to work with you till the end, no matter what. You've said something similar, but coming down that backstretch with Matthew right on your bumper, did you trust that he was going to push you, or were you kind of driving out of your rearview mirror trying to figure out when he was going to make his move?
I knew for sure he was going to make a move, but I figured, it'd be like on the start-finish line when everybody was wrecking. I knew he was going to make a move, but I just made a small little block, and I'm so glad he worked with me there, to get that far ahead, because that really worked out. He didn't really make a huge move. He made a half move, and I respect the heck out of that. I raced with some of these guys a lot, and really appreciate him working with me, and it was a great time up front, and it was good. I had a great time. I can't believe I won the race. I'm just so happy right now.
Yeah, well, congrats. It was a great run. Well-deserved. Before you go, do you have anybody you'd like to shout out?
Like Fort Worth Screen Printing for being my #1 sponsor, and Splash and Go Graphics being in there, and everybody a part of my Twitch channel, my supporters out there. They're great people. So great race, and looking forward to doing one of these again.
All right, thanks, Justin. Congrats again.
Congrats.
Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank y'all for broadcasting. It was a great race.
Well, that is going to be it for the top 3 interviews. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Shenandoah Shine 160 here at Talladega. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We'd really appreciate it. And I think the next broadcast is going to be on Sunday with the original Rebels Racing League, so make sure to tune into that. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.